Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Johnny's Scrims. Week 2, Day 2, bringing you ReVamp versus Crimson. Going to be a very interesting match to see. Um, yeah, two pretty good teams. We saw quite a lot from them last week, and I can't wait to see what they can pull out for today's game. I'm here again with Corrupted, so say hello.
So thanks for having me again.
Thanks for coming. Um, and yeah, first map going to be Lijang Tower. So let's get this underway, I suppose. If both teams are ready, that is.
Ah,
It looks like
looks
both
like we're
teams are
ready to
ready.
get started.
And here we go on to Lijang Tower.
Now arriving at Lijang Tower.
This was a map pick from Crimson, who are, of course, the higher seeded team after winning their game last week, which I believe was a 3-0. So, yeah, first off, heading to Control Center. Uh, what are you hoping to see here, Corrupted?
On this map, it's pretty common for teams to run a brawl, or a variant of it at least. So I'm pretty sure we'll see a Rhine Zarya from both sides, and it looks like that's going to be the case
Yeah, it looks like
here,
both teams actually running a mirror comp here. Both
almost.
running, is it exactly, not quite exact mirror. Crimson are deciding to run the Baptiste while ReVamp are running the Moira. So, going to be interesting to see how each team plays with these different supports. Personally, I do think that Baptiste is quite a lot stronger, especially because of that immortality field, which is just so clutch in keeping tanks alive, especially in the mid fight. But we're about to find out exactly how things are going to happen as both tanks now engaging each other. Luda Yoda pushing very, very far forward here and already takes out Waifu. That's an early elimination for the side of Crimson. As Nutcake follows up as well, finding Mr. X, and already a very, very quick reset coming through for the side of ReVamp, while Luda Yoda is just pushing all the way out there, playing very, very aggressive, looking for as many extra picks as they can get before even capping the point. Finding now though, Crimson are rotating back
Oh,
to cap the point, and it looks like we have a pause. Interesting. I think we have a DC, is it?
is the cut again. That is unfortunate. Um,
Anyways, a very quick fight there.
First thing yeah, that was very. One thing to know is that Ludig
Luda Yoda.
Goyoda,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Luda Goyoda, got to the corner first, making it so that he doesn't have to take all the spam damage from the enemy Junkrat. Meanwhile, Waifu was just standing there as he was coming out of the choke. He just ate all the Junkrat spam to the face, and without the Baptiste Immortality field to keep him alive, he just fell almost instantly.
Yeah, we did see he was the
After that,
first
it's just
pick.
clean up for
Did
Crimson.
fall very, very quickly, and oh, looks like we're coming back now. And yeah, Crimson still wanting to hold it as aggressive as possible. Only one person went back to contest the point. And we do see now finally Waifu pushing in aggressive here. The cut does find the pick onto Tama, who played a little bit aggressive there, a bit of red Lucioing. And now the Moira and Bear Tank coalesces. That's shut down by Luda Yoda. A huge slam hitting 5 people, I believe, there. The cut does find an extra pick onto Luda Yoda, but it's not going to be enough as the window comes out from Nutcake as well. And just wipes the side of ReVamp.
That was some really good aggression we saw from Ludig Yoda here. Even though he lost, even though the team Crimson lost the healer at first, like he didn't take the foot off the pedal and just went in with a huge shatter.
Definitely that huge shatter as well, stopping that Coalescence in its tracks. And now a shatter coming out from the other side and ReVamp here. It does find some people down on their backs, but unfortunately the follow-up isn't there for the damage. As Ludigoda just pushing aggressive still, finds Mr. X with a pin as Toastman as well. Cleaning up the fight, finds 2 for himself as well. Another great hold for Crimson here. Definitely showing up and showing their dominance on this map so far.
Interesting to note here, we see Zodic switching onto the Genji.
Yeah, Zodic, I saw
Yeah.
it before. He's a pretty nasty Genji player, but as we've heard a lot from Kev in the last few days, Genji very, very weak right now. The Graviton Surge coming out from Toastman. Can I find any kills? Looks like no. The beat is there out of Flappy. as well as a nice bit of follow-up damage coming out from the rest of his team, with iMustache and Waifu getting a lot of damage there and finding a few kills for themselves. The cut now with Barrett Kank on that Baptiste instead of the Moira finding the last few kills for their team.
That is a massive fight win. Like here, ReVamp only got took the point essentially for free, only using a beat for it. They're looking like they have the advantage here in the coming fight, especially with that
the Graviton Surge is coming out early here, as that window from the Baptiste Barrett Kank looks like it went a little bit too far, and the big slam coming out of Ludiyoda. It does knock down 2, but the High Noon coming out from the cut shuts that down as well, as Mr. X finds the final pick onto Ludiyoda as well. And the shatter coming out of Waifu very late here. Nice wall out of Zotic to slow down the push. But iMustache on the flank does still pick up 2 for himself. And he's already, 40% onto his next grab as well, even though he just used it last fight. Nutcake, though, has his ult on the side of Crimson, but that's about all they have. Interesting to see what they try to get done with it, as Mr. X is waiting on the sides by the coast to use his tire. Here comes the window. Looks like can't find any kills. Unfortunately, the Fire Strike from Ludiyoda not hitting anybody. Immortality Field does come out to stop that tire from getting any kills, and it does just that, as Mr. X does get booped off the map by Tamo after getting found by that Reinhardt and Lucio combo on the side. Waifu, though, manages to swing and take Ludiyoda off the cliff, or yeah, take Ludiyoda off the cliff before getting booped off by Tamo. Now Crimson once again with the aggression here finds Barrett Kank. Zotic finds Barrett Kank, and Toastman with that high energy does almost pick off the kill onto the cut as well. Just finished off by Zotic once again. Looks like the point is going to be turned
some very
back.
smart play from Crimson there, capitalizing on the immobile Junkrat and just taking him out the fight. It's also pretty comedic how both Ryans got booped off from the edge.
I mean, Ryan notorious for being very difficult to boop, and yet both Ryans getting booped in that fight. Another big slam coming out of Waifu to slow down the push from that Graviton Surge out of Toastman. But the Blizzard and Beat are there to keep this team alive. Crimson still rolling over this team fight, investing everything they had, but why not? It was last fight. And it looks like point A is going to the side of Crimson.
That was a very solid play, very solid point by Crimson here. They used ult efficiently, didn't overult at all. They capitalized on not mistakes, but really on opportunities that ReVamp showed them here. Like that Junkrat staying immobile by the coast, that was pounced on really quickly. They were ready for the tire as well. Honestly, it looks very solid from the side of Crimson here.
Definitely showing they have some good communication and pretty good ult tracking as well, knowing that tire was about ready to come in and holding their abilities for it. But now we're heading over onto Lijang Gardens here, and we're seeing a bit more of a divey comp out of both sides. Zotic looking maybe to prefer the Tracer over that Genji, considering Genji's power level right now. Holly sticking on the Kree though, which is quite immobile for this type of a team comp. On the side though, we do see Waifu as well on the
We're
Sigma.
not seeing a Genji, it's mostly because you really need the Ana to enable him during the Nano Blade. And I don't think it's a compromise the team is willing to make here.
We'll hop on board here with Toastman on that Wrecking Ball. See if he can get anything done. Looks like he's able to burn down iMustache thanks to the double stun from his teammates on the McCree and Brigida. And already that's a big pick for the side of Crimson. That's the second pick. Holisov finding the pick onto the cut on that Tracer. And Barakank as well finding the pick onto Zotic. Both Tracers falling here. But Crimson are up by team members. Ludiyoda pushing out that Diva. Can he find any kills? Not quite, as he does get D-Mech, but Toastman is able to follow up on his damage and find those kills onto the support line of ReVamp. Interesting though to see Ludiyoda on the Diva. He's definitely a very well-known Reinhardt player, but I've never seen him play an off-tank before. And especially going to be difficult for them now, as he's still out of mech and only 83% to his next mech call. So if ReVamp push in aggressively here, they might be able to stop that Diva from remeching. Looks like they can't quite do it though, as they're playing a bit of a slower comp with that Sigma, and rotations are that little bit slower. We do see though Zotic has switched over onto that Genji. The cut, sticking a pulse bomb onto Ludiyoda on that Diva, although Holisov getting the flashbang and headshot in to shut down that Tracer's push. You see Holisov now with the High Noon. Can he find anything? Looks like he can find Mr. X, almost finding Waifu as well on that Sigma, but was able to get into cover just in time. Holisov, though not finished yet, does find the pick onto iMustache, as well as Zotic finding the kill onto Flappy as well with the Genji. So far, a very dominating performance for Crimson. Go ahead.
The main difference in playstyle between the McCree and the Echo here is that the ball is going to have to be a lot more careful with his engages. We saw it twice here where Imus gets caught out by a flashbang followed by a shield bash, almost rendering him
You see an early rally
useless.
coming out from Flappy there, just to top up the team with a little bit of extra armor, as Toastman does roll in very aggressively onto the enemy team, popping Mindful just to slow down the push, even with the rally health. And we do see Exotic here, does pull out the blade. Can he get anything done with it? He's getting stunned left, right, and center by the two Brigidas, so he can't find any kills, but he does shut down Mr. X's copy with that Echo ult. And he does eventually find Waifu as well, and with the help of Toastman finds Barrett Kank. And it looks like, once again, a very, very dominating performance for this point on the side of Crimson as well, as the cut forces overtime, but is taken out for it. And now it's just a struggle for Flappy to even get to point on that Lucio. And I don't think he's going to be able to get to point afterwards. Maybe Mr. X on the Echo, as well as Waifu, who switched over onto the Monkey just to contest this point. But unfortunately, Crimson are just getting all the kills right now, and just clearing everyone who touches point as soon as they get on, pretty much. Brett Kank forced to trance to keep that ball alive, trying to get some picks on the point, but unfortunately the stuns are there to shut down iMustache from rolling around the point for too long. But the stall is huge. Flappy getting back again on the Lucio. Zodic finds two here, and unfortunately ReVamp not able to touch the point again, and that's Crimson winning map 1 with a very dominating performance, especially on that second point there.
I definitely agree with what you said. Like a pretty surprising thing. We saw was that Zotic making the Dragon Blade work even without a nano, especially against two Brigidas, and taking them both out of the fight, like killing the Echo and then, burning the copy and then killing the actual Brigida, which was really impressive on his part.
Yeah, I would say it was impressive on his part, but at the same time, not quite sure how he wasn't killed, because he was double stunned by both breaks. So obviously Valve wasn't there from the team. There's maybe a bit of a lack of communication on ReVamp's side there to just not nail down Zodic as soon as he was stunned. Still though, a good blade, good play, and yeah, very dominating performance for Crimson as they take map 1. Next though, it will be ReVamp's pick for map. And they'll be hoping to pull back a map here and hopefully claim a map for themselves with their own pick. Crimson will be choosing the side, so it'll be interesting to see where it will be taken and how Crimson will choose to play this. Crimson will probably be would want to see a map where Ryan will be very heavily favored with Luda Yoda on the team, because as we saw last week, his Ryan is quite impressive and quite dominating, or at least it was last week. We'll see if we can keep that up. Looks like though we'll be going to Havana, and I think Crimson looking to defend.
Wait. Yep, Crimson are going to defend, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to switch both teams.
I mean, do it manually if you need to just say right click on each player and just say swap to blue or swap to red. And just do it one by one. I think there is a quicker way of doing it, but honestly, I don't know.
There is.
We'll have Crop to look into that in the future. But no worries, this isn't too slow either.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks like we'll be getting into the match momentarily. And just making sure my overlay is correct because it wasn't yesterday. And yeah, we'll get back into this as soon as possible.
Hey, it looks like both teams are ready.
Okay, Havana, definitely a map known for snipers, especially for that first and third point.
I can't find it.
I'll be interested to see how both teams want to play this. Of course, those brawl comps definitely very viable. I do expect Ludio to be running that Rhine and probably Toastman on the Zarya as well, just to keep him up with a bit of extra support on the side of Crimson at least. I'm not entirely sure what to expect out of ReVamp though.
Traveling to Havana.
They picked the Havana. They must have a strat for it. We're either gonna see since they're on defense first, we might see a spawn camp attempt like Jamil tried the other day, or we might also see them running the double shield, double sniper.
Yeah, I do fully
It
expect to
really
see
is up to preference here.
I do fully expect to see a brawl type of spawn camp out of Crimson, especially because, as I've said before, Luda Yoda being a very, very strong Reinhardt player. Although it does look like they are running the Ashe as well as the Widow here, so it looks like they are running this double sniper. They might not go for a spawn camp. We also see on the attacking side with ReVamp, sorry, with ReVamp, they're running that ball Sigma once again as they did on Lijang Gardens. I'll be interested to see if they can perform a little bit better than they did there, and hopefully be able to push a bit more aggressively here and take some more space for themselves. Well, we're about to get things underway and see how things go. We do see already Toastman setting up behind enemy lines up on the high ground with the ball to do a bit of scouting. And Luda Yoda as well has switched over onto the Sigma. iMustache rolling behind, trying to find his way into the Crimson backline. As Halisav looking for a pick on the Widow, playing that low ground, trying not to get picked off by the Hanzo, who's a pretty scary pick to play against as Widowmaker. But the hit scan advantage does make it a bit easier for Widowmaker to land those headshots more reliably. No kills so far, but iMustache did fall quite low there before having to fall out and get back to his healers on time. As he does slam into that tank line of Crimson. Still no kills until Halisav finds the first pick with the headshot onto Mr. X on the Hanzo. And Zadok following up with the Echo beam onto Waifu to just shut down that Sigma as well. Luda Yoda finding the cut as well as a bit of a fade out pick.
As you said here, the hit scan is definitely favored in these long sight lines of Havana first, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise seeing Mr. X fall on the Hanzo to Holysav's very, very solid Widowmaker play.
We do see Holly has rotated up to the high ground now. As ReVamp as well rotating through the inside of that bookshop there, or cafe or whatever it is. As they just don't want to get picked off by the Widow once again, which did shut down their push last time. We do see that Ball and Tracer combo are pushing up to the high ground to try and contest that Widow. As Zodic on the Echo is trying to peel as best as he can, but it's not going to be enough as Zodic does fall. Now Holly forced to use his grapple to get away, but the chase is on. Looks like he will be taken out as well, but not before Nutcake falls to Mr. X's headshot, and Flappy as well finds Luda Yoda over on the side here by the payload. Somehow this Widowmaker is still alive, I'm not quite sure. He was even pulse bombed, I believe, but it just unfortunately didn't connect. And now Holly looking to try and get some picks off if he can. Is sonared though. And of course forced to back out. I'll hop on board here with Zodic. See if we can get any spam in. We do see Mr. X does finally get the pick onto Halisav, who does finally fall for the first time in this game. As iMustache rolled in with the Tracer as well to try and find a pick onto that Brigida, but unfortunately it's not going to be able to come through. But Luda Yoda pushing onto payload regardless of his team not being there with him, does get taken out by Waifu. And the point does eventually turn over for the side of ReVamp, who have been looking quite strong so far. They're finding another pick onto Nutcake as well. Anything interesting to keep an eye on right here so far, Corrupted, or has it all been fairly standard?
Coming into the next fight, Crimson definitely has the ult advantage here. They have both support ults plus the Echo copy, which is really, I expect really will be an essential part of the next fight.
The Dragon though comes out first out of the side of ReVamp. Mr. X looking for a pick if he can get it, but he can't quite. But it does cut off Luda Yoda from the rest of his team, and iMustache does follow up with the damage to get the kill. Now as well, iMustache does find Halisav as Waifu pops out Sigma ult. Try and get another pick. We can't quite find it. Zodic though does find Mr. X with the Sticky Mines and then copies that Sigma, trying to get up that ultimate. And can he do it on time? I don't know what just happened to my mouse there. Zodic does get the Sigma ult the other Sigma, but gets rocked out of the sky. Waifu there having a nice play to shut down Zodic.
That was a bit of an unfortunate fight for Crimson, I would say. They definitely had the tools to win it. I think they just waited too long on the ult here.
Yeah, and we do see Nutcake as well, still holding on to that Transcendence, which could have been very, very useful for them in that last fight. Mr. X finding another headshot onto Nutcake as well, which means Crimson are going to have to be backing out here as well. Holly though has switched on to the McCree. Actually, I think was on the McCree for a little while now, for second point as well. choosing to hold on to it as he does have high noon as well. And hopefully going to be looking for a pick with it. As he draws it now, can he find a kill? Looks like no, he won't be able to, as iMustache just pushes in from the back, as well as the entire rest of the team playing behind that Sigma shield and behind the payload to just hide from that high noon. The cut does find a pick onto Zadok on the side, but goes in a bit too aggressively there, and Halisoft does pick him off. Toastman though also choosing to go a little bit aggressive, a little bit in front of his team, getting picked off by Waifu on the payload, and now the mines coming out from iMustache, as well as the dragons from Mr. X are going to shut down the recontest from Crimson. Not quite sure if those dragons were necessary, but it's a pretty quick ultimate, and you know, they've been built up pretty quickly so far.
Coming up to the last part of this point here, I wouldn't be surprised if Halisoft just stay on the McCree, especially since the sidelines are really reduced here and they can just use and force the high ground, force the fight like from the high ground from a pretty safe position without being too far from the point.
You see Mr. X looking for a pick, climbing up and down that wall, trying to find a headshot onto Zadok there on the Hanzo. Zadok though deciding to drop down and try to pull the same strat, but in reverse. Also can't quite find a pick. As now the lift does come out of Luda Yoda. Can it find any kills? Looks like no, it can't. It did get a lot of damage in though. Flappy does eventually fall thanks to it. Now Luda Yoda pushing in very, very aggressive here, looking for that Zenyatta kill. Can he find it? Looks like he'll be able to, as Bert Kank does give up and let himself be taken out there as his team was resetting anyways. And I do kind of expect now Halisoft maybe to switch over onto the Widow, since they have held and the silence have been increased once again. But then again, he has his high noon, so I'm unsure. Luda Yoda switching over onto the Reinhardt as well.
It looks like Crimson moved on to brawlier. Actually, both teams moved on to a brawlier, beefier kind of team comp, so it wouldn't be that surprising for Halisoft to stay on the McCree here. Especially since there isn't a Widow or a long-range scan to contest on the enemy team.
Nice, a couple of headshots out of Halisoft there to enable Luda Yoda to find the final blow onto Waifu with that Discord Orb, as well as Tomo finds another pick onto Bert Kank and the opposite numbers Zenyatta as well. Now Luda Yoda pushing very aggressively along with Halisoft, looking for those extra picks, and they find just that as well. Luda Yoda already to 60% of ult charge as well from just that one fight. We do also see Waifu switching over onto the Rhine to hopefully contest Luda Yoda a little bit better. Will be tricky though, because Crimson have that Zarya where there's only a D.Va on the side of ReVamp, and the play, that's exactly why the bubble is useful for the Zarya. We saw Toastman there bubbling Halisav, Winnie High Noon to prevent any kills or any damage coming through, and the defense matrix was used a little bit too early by iMustache, and because of that, Waifu was taken out by the High Noon. And that's a hard reset straight away for the side of ReVamp. And already asleep as well, coming through onto Waifu right out of spawn. Coming from Nutcake there. And an anti-nade onto Mr. X as well in the back lines. But now both Rhines engaging each other on point. Toastman using both bubbles here on the Graviton Surge. Will any kills come from it? Looks like no. Whoa, maybe it will, thanks to the push there from Halisoft to get that Immortality Field from Barrett Kank. A nice play there to enable the kills to come through for his team.
Even though Halisoft isn't on that Widow or the long range hit scan here, I feel like ReVamp should make more of an effort to play together and group together, even against the Grav, at least to make sure all 6 members are contributing to the fight as they break
coming through there onto Luda Yoda. He goes for the slam and somehow does find 2, as well as finding the pin onto Waifu. Waifu did block most of that shatter, but unfortunately iMustache and I believe it was Mr. X were playing a little bit more to the side of Waifu's shield and were put on their backs, and Luda Yoda absolutely popped off there with that nano boost from Nutcake as well. A solid push out of ReVamp, but unfortunately we're not able to cap all 3 points.
Again, we saw the same thing as last time on Havana, where the attacking team gets to the castle really relatively fast, but after that, the defender's advantage is just overwhelming most of the time and makes it so that the fight they win breaks the snowball and allows them to have more favorable fights coming. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah,
for the rest of the timer.
I would say I must say Crimson did quite well there. They held on to quite a few ultimates, until the castle phase, and use those to win that team fight. And as you say, once you win that team fight, the steamroll is broken, as those high grounds really enable defenders to just hold on at that castle and fortify it, which makes it very difficult for attackers, as we saw, to push through. Still, though, the payload did get just inside the doors of those castles, so hope is not lost for the side of ReVamp here, who look to be playing a double sniper camp with that Widow Hanzo on the high ground here on their defense. Still running that Ball and Sigma, though.
5, 4, 3,
You see Zodic as well, running that Genji on the side of Crimson with Ludigoda on the Rhine, Toastman on the Diva, Holisav once again on that McCree, and Tomo and Nutcake on the Zenyatta and Ana combo. We do so. Tomo is playing quite far back with that Zenyatta. I'm kind of concerned he might get picked off by a Widowmaker here if he's not careful. Ludigoda has nice shield position to try and prevent that, but not quite good enough. Although Tomo almost wanted to pick onto the cut there with the 5-ball. And now Zodic diving in. Very, very aggressive here. Will that pay off? Looks like it will, as he does find Barrett Kank. And Ludigoda following up, finding Imo Slash as well. And deflect kill as well out of Zodic onto the cut. I believe that was deflect at least. As now the rest of Crimson are just cleaning up. Holisav getting all those final blows. And it looks like the point will be turning over. I don't think a recontest is going to be available for the side of ReVamp here.
That was a bit unfortunate on the side of Crimson there. It looked like they ended up killing Tomo with, they ended up killing Barrett Kank by shooting the deflecting Genji, and that sort of started making the dominoes fall on the sides of, for the
nice Maywell though comes out of Mr. X there, and that just shuts down Ludigoda, who's completely out of position after charging in, trying to pin a sleeping target, but unfortunately the sleeping target was woken up just before, as now we do see the aggression coming through from the side of ReVamp with that Lucio speed boost onto that Rhine, as the cut cleans up these kills, finds Holisav as well as Nutcake, who are now going to be respawning soon. We do see Waifu looking to play very, very aggressive here, probably going to look to pin back towards his team, but I don't know if this will work. So far, he's not been spotted, and here comes the charge, and there's a counter charge though out of Ludigoda, and I think that's exactly what I expected to see here, and Waifu taken out. That was a bit of a feed, to be honest. Very questionable play coming out of ReVamp here, and now they are playing quite passively, doing the right thing, falling out, waiting for their Rhine to come back, but the Nanoblade is coming out to try and prevent the regroup for Crimson, or for ReVamp I should say, as Zodic finds 3, as well as taking out that mortality field, and that's a hard reset once again. Waifu does get back on time to kill Zodic, but I mean, too little too late. Zodic already found 3.
Honestly, I would also put part of the blame on ReVamp, not just Waifu here, because the rest of the team do have to sell the impression that the Rhine isn't somewhere fishy here. If they just show themselves without a Reinhardt, that it's a bit of a telling tale.
Holisav with the 3k High Noon as well. That's another team fight win early on for the side of Crimson, is now Mr. X just stalling for as long as possible. Tries to get the pick onto Tomo. He does find it. Holisav though with the 4k, 5k even, finds Waifu and Mr. X as well. Nutcake finding Eye Mustache. And yes, I do agree with you there. ReVamp, I mean, it was a question play out of Waifu, definitely, but ReVamp could have either played more aggressively, played with the Rhine once that charge came through, or at least sold the impression of their Rhine not being there a bit better. We do see Ludigoda taking a lot of space here for the side of Crimson, pushing up quite aggressively as the cart is slowly moving on. Nutcake and Tomo staying on the payload. The bomb does come through now from the side of Crimson, and the wall is there from Mr. X to block it. It's a High Noon combo with the Graviton Surge. Will it be enough to get any kills here? Looks like the High Noon itself, no. But the damage from Waifu, yes it will. As Crimson now have to reset. And this could be a very big team fight win for the side of Crimson. Or for ReVamp, I mean. ReVamp as well, looking a lot better with the ultimate economy as well. Having Shatter and Beat available, as well as that May Blizzard, with only Nano Boost available for the side of Crimson. Mr. X with that Blizzard comes out early. Will it find Nutcake? Looks like yes, it will. The count was slept, or sorry, Mr. X was slept, and the count was shattered there by Ludigoda. A questionable shatter in my opinion, as now the Beat as well comes through from the side of ReVamp. Another ult I'm not sure was necessary, but did enable his team to clean up the rest of Crimson Academy there, or Crimson, just Crimson.
Their plan here might be to just die to the Nanoblade as fast as possible and ensure another fight where they're more favored closer to the castle. I think that's what they're going for here.
Well, here comes the Nanoblade already, and the slam out of
Oh,
Waifu shuts it down straight away, although he's still alive somehow. Can he find any kills? Looks like he can't. Almost finding Waifu there, but the blade did run out of time just beforehand. Tomo finding the first pick onto the cut, though. And that's a big pick. Tomo on these flanks. And now the Red Lucio Flappy chasing as well. The grab coming out from iMustache does find Luda Yoda with the pin from Waifu, but it is going to be enough. It looks like it might not be, as Toastman pushing aggressively with that high charge, finds a couple of kills for himself, as well as Halisav on the Widow now, finding a pick as well. A very messy
I
fight
think
there.
it's very good from the side of ReVamp to once they've identified that the fight was lost, they just decided to down cart and prevent themselves from being staggered, at least allowing for another fight in this third point.
Looks like that's exactly what they're looking for here, and they have switched comp once again. But the sights as well are there already for Halisav, who only just switching over to Widow, but already having the sights available, obviously hitting those shots, and a sleep dart coming through onto iMustache. Zadok falls off the map somehow. Very unfortunate there, but it's time now for ReVamp to push aggressively, as they do have a man up so far. The High Noon is out. Kind of finding kills. Looks like no can't, but it does enable Halisav to be taken out by iMustache, who's able to just push a little bit more aggressively with the High Noon backup. Luda Yoda does find the pick onto iMustache, but it's a wrecking ball. He'll get back quick enough.
After the tanks result here, I wouldn't be surprised if Crimson decided to at least try to mirror the ball or switch up their tank lineup here. When there isn't another Ryan to brawl in front of you, it becomes really hard to play this really close range tank lineup.
First kill coming through from iMustache onto Thomas, a big pick for the side of Crimson. But Waifu does fall as well to Zadok on the high ground. And a big slam coming out of Ludiota as well. Finds Flappy. That's another kill on the point. Mr. X trading as well for Zadok, and this is a 1-for-1 fight. Very, very messy so far, but Luda Yoda being alive on point is a real risk for the side of ReVamp here, as that's a lot of damage coming out of our Reinhardt on the point. Able to swing for free, and we do see Waifu gets changes onto that Winston to get to point quicker, but dives a little bit too far, and Luda Yoda as well with the boop pushes him away even further before he gets taken out by Nutcake. And now it's just a stagger and a brawl on the point, with the ReVamp trying to hold on as long as possible. Looks like they won't be able to do enough though, as the kills are coming through for the side of Crimson.
It appears I was wrong and that the fight was gonna happen on point anyways. In that case, the Reinhardt is very, very powerful.
I will say, right there, it did say ReVamp wins, but that's just because we didn't change the titles in the lobby. It is Crimson who did come out on top there. So this is a 2-0 so far for Crimson, and I do hope to see a map win next map for the side of ReVamp, as I don't want another 3-0 from this league. Hello, Cryptid.
Yeah, I kind of left by accident.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Alright, I'll get you back in here.
Thank you.
And give you a lead once again. No, excuse me. Yeah, ReVamp once again will be picking next map, as they did lose that one, and Crimson once again will be picking sides. I believe it's a hybrid map next. Kind of want to see a bit of King's Row, but I don't know if ReVamp will choose that, as it is a very strong Rhine map, and as we've seen so far, Luda Yoda definitely able to pull his weight, especially on that Reinhardt.
Yeah, Ludiga looking very, very dominant on the Reinhardt here.
Yeah,
No matter the map, he comes up big.
we saw the same last week, even on Gibraltar, first point, able to get work done as Reinhardt somehow, even clearing the high ground of all snipers and everything. Not quite sure how he did it, how he got away with it, but he did it, and be interesting to see if he can do it again this week. That's if the map pick enables it, of course. looks like we'll be going to Numbani, which is another map like Gibraltar, which does not favor a Reinhardt player like Ludogorets. So I'm going to be interested to see how Crimson decide to run this. If they'll put Ludogorets on like the Sigma or the Diva once again, as we've seen so far this game. Also going to be interested to see how ReVamp want to run this. If they'll be running maybe a double bubble, or if they'll stick with that ball Sigma comp that they've been running so far, which they've not looked too bad on, but unfortunately Crimson just looking better and able to pull ahead on every map so far, even running the mirror comp. So yeah, I don't know what to expect out of ReVamp here.
This map is very high ground heavy, so I wouldn't be surprised seeing some sort of hypermobile comp, at least from the tank, where they can contest different high grounds when they need to. Although they're not, it doesn't look like anyone is running Brawl. It is still a possible strategy on this map if you really play close. And on the defender side, you could have a Sombra hide on the high ground and call out when the attackers are coming up. Not like even before the point actually, and then you can make it work there. Other than that, it looks like both teams are running for a Winston comp. A double bubble from the side of Crimson though, so they do have a bit more protection for the Winston.
Double bubble will be a very interesting comp to watch. We've seen a few matches so far this this week, and definitely has been played quite well by a lot of teams. It's definitely a very strong comp and a very fun comp to play and watch. And excited to see how Crimson decide to play this. They do rotate underneath, but the big anti-nade does come out from Barrett Kank there, and looks like Ludogorets will fall because of it. His team not able to dive with him. As Hollysoft does get to pick onto Mr. X, but the Resurrect is there for the side of ReVamp. Coming out of Flappy, Zodic looking to dive that Ana by himself once again though, and does get taken out for it. Hollysoft though once again finding another kill onto Waifu. So far a pretty messy fight on the point here, with even trades back and forth. Tamo falling next to the cut, but the dive coming through once again out of Ludogorets by himself onto that Ana. Looks like he won't be able to find the kill because the Mercy is there. Flappy doing very good job there to protect his Ana as well as keep the team topped up. Mr. X finding the final kill onto Ludogorets as well. Corrupted, very staggered dives onto that Ana from Crimson.
It's a bit disappointing to see that first the Winston goes in alone, gets pincered into that tunnel, dies, and then Zodic follows, he goes in alone, and then gets picked off. Here, I feel like there must have been some miscommunication that Zodic could not have followed up on the dive.
Yeah, I think it was because that anti-nade out of Barrett Kank.
Yeah, that was a very good nade.
Another massive nade coming out of Barrett Kank again. Finds three, Holysov, Toastman, and Tamo this time. As now Ludogorets dives in and finds the Mercy this time. As Zodic decides to go for the Ana instead. Does find the pick, excuse me. Holysov though, once again finding another pick. Last fight did very well for himself as well. And showing he's doing it again this fight. Mr. X used the copy to copy the Ludogorets on that Winston. And does eventually get the primal and is just battling on point, stalling for as long as possible. Does get slept, but instantly woken up by Zodic. And we'll see if Zodic gets punished for it. Looks like he won't, as he's able to pull out that kill. And now the Valking Nano Mercy on point, able to get that Resurrect onto Mr. X quite easily there. But the Nano Blade can it get more? Looks like it will find one thanks to the help of Ludogorets as well. Finds Barrett Kank, finding the cut next. Can he find anyone else? Looks like not quite, but two might just be enough. Waifu though does fall to Oliball does fall to Waifu, who then falls to Toastman. Toastman finding two for himself, both tanks, as now Holysov and Zodic clean up the straggling Echo Mercy. Another interesting fight there.
That fight was still a bit scrappy, but it was a lot better on the side of Crimson here, where at least when the dive characters went in, even though they went in alone, they still managed to survive somehow. Ludogorets gets away with the Mercy kill and allows Zodic to pick up the unprotected Ana.
Yeah, we did see Barrett Kank used his abilities to try and stop Ludogorets using the anti-nade very, very early and then trying to sleep Ludogorets, but the bubble was there as well to prevent that from happening. And that did enable Zodic to dive in. So far now, the Graviton Surge does come out from Toastman and the High Noon to follow up. Will it find the kills? No, it only finds the cut as the rest of the kills were found earlier. A lot of follow-up there onto that Graviton Surge.
Feel a bit excessive though, using the rally. I didn't really see I can't really
Maybe
see the reason.
Crimson might have expected a bit more of a contest from that fight. Maybe didn't expect those kills to come through quite as quickly from that
That could
Graviton
be it, yeah.
Surge. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe they just wanted to rally for the extra armor to prevent any recontests. As, of course, ReVamp didn't recontest the point there. A nice stun from Tomo on the brig did prevent Imustache from touching the point, and now Zodic dashing onto the high ground to find the pick onto the cut. Zodic definitely pulling his weight even on the Genji here, which is quite impressive to see.
Definitely good to see a player representing the Genjis. That's
Of course, you would
you
say
love
that
to see
corrupted.
it. Of course, I would say that.
We did see he got a nice deflected anti-nade there, hitting both Alibal and Ludioda, hitting both Waifu and Bearkank. Look at the wrong team. As now he pulls out the blade, can he find any kills with it? Dashing around the place trying to find people, but the copy coming out from that Echo onto Zarya to keep himself alive from that Nano Blade. Doesn't last very long though, as he's taken out of ult form very, very quickly, and now actually survives as Echo to get out of that fight alive, but it looks like he won't be able to stall point, and neither will Imustache, who's also taken out. Very scrappy fight there, both teams losing a lot of members. As now the pulse bomb coming through from the cut as well. Can't quite find a kill onto that Lucio, and Tomo almost does though. As now Ludioda primaling in his opponent's spawn. Can he find any kills? He got slept, but once again instantly woken as he now boops Flappy up into the air and finds a follow-up swing. Another very scrappy fight. Imustache finding Toastman on point. Ludioda burning down Waifu, who was in that bubble, unable to get any heals. As you see, Tomo once again Reddit Lucioing, chasing down that Ana, but Flappy is there with the peel to protect his other support. Mr. X though popping off over on the corner there, being able to tunnel a few players into his beam and find 2 kills with that. Looks like Ludioda did find Imustache, but traded his life for it, and it looks like ReVamp will be able to hold on to this point for a little while longer at least.
That was very good sound, the part of ReVamp there of even though they lost members, they didn't rush the recontest and they really waited for the last minute with having Waifu and Imustache touch and Crimson already have a pick.
Yeah, Halisav once again finding an early pick onto Mr. X, which he's been doing a lot so far this game, finding early picks and being a very reliable McCree. And he finds 2 more with that high noon, as now the Nano Boost comes out onto that ball Imustache just to keep him alive on point for a little while longer, as well as that rally coming through from that brig in Flappy, but it's not going to be enough as Zodic comes in with the Nano Blade, takes out both supports, and now follows up onto Imustache and once again onto Mr. X. That's a 4k blade for Zodic, and he's going to be looking for that Tracer pick next, or else that pick onto Waifu on that Sigma. He does get rocked, however, as Halisav takes out Waifu, and now it's just a stall for the side of ReVamp. The beat is there from Crimson, however, so it looks like ReVamp won't be finding any kills, as it's just red in the kill feed here, with everyone actually on the side of Crimson finding a kill for themselves and just ulting the point as soon as they get ultimates. Very, very scrappy play here, but that's all that ReVamp can do, just to contest the point, maybe burn down the clock a little bit, hoping for under a minute. They just barely find it, as there's 58 seconds left on the clock when Crimson finally turn over the 3rd point.
That was I would say a pretty swift attack on the side of Crimson here. It looks like ReVamp still don't have an answer to the Nano Blade, which normally it's your main win condition, but with everyone on the side of Crimson just playing out of their minds, it seems like they don't really need it. It does get a lot of kills every now and then, but
Yeah.
it just feels like there are so many other things that go well for the side of Crimson that it's not even, I wouldn't call it the main reason they
I have to give credit to Halisav, who's been absolutely popping off in the McCree. Was doing quite well for himself as well on the Widow. Definitely showing up today and asserting his dominance. Zodic now switching over onto the Ashe for the defense as well, running the double hit scan. So they'll be hoping for an Echo or a Mercy out of ReVamp, which I also expect to see. In fact, no, they go over to the Genji. Interesting.
I really hope he stays Genji here. But it does look like Mr. X is gonna try to run the Genji here. Another interesting change is Baird Kank not on the Ana. I think it's because they expect Crimson to run the Genji again, and they might. Oh, never mind.
Oh, it's
They
the Ana,
switched off.
he goes. Yeah, unfortunately, Barrett Kank not able to find any sleeps onto Zodic's Genji here to shut down that blade. And it looked like maybe they would go and play that Zen for the Transcendence. But no, Barrett Kank switches over once again onto the Ana, which is much better to keep those tanks alive during the neutral fight. Zodic here finding a nice headshot onto Barrett Kank, but it's not going to be enough as he doesn't have his from Flappy. Zodic though getting a lot of damage in here with that Ashe, and now the dive coming through. Both tanks diving in on that Ana for the side of ReVamp, but Waifu does fall, followed by Barrett Kank actually to Zodic on the Ashe, and it looks like a pretty clean fight for Crimson here, who look to be coming out on top.
It's a bit unfortunate that we didn't see much diving from the side of ReVamp this fight. That's the only way they clear the high ground. Instead, they just let the double hit scan, especially the damage boosted Ashe, shoot at them essentially for free, honestly.
We must say, Zodic obviously performing because he already has Bob available. We did see the dive come through as well from Waifu, as well as a few others. iMustache and Mr. X, I believe, did get involved as well, but the peel was there from both tanks on the side of Crimson to keep that Ana alive as well, which is great to see. They're really just enabling Zodic here to pop off, and he's been doing just that, very similar to what Yoinkers did yesterday with Poe. We'll see now, can Zodic find any more kills? The dive is coming through from Mr. X, who's just pressuring that Ashe, and now the Nano Monkey as well. Waifu, can he find any kills? Looks like he might not be able to. He does find Ollie actually, after getting antied. But Holly popping off, finds 2 for himself. Ludiota finding kill as well. And Tomo with a res onto Ollie. That Valk being used as well to keep the team alive while they're down to support in that fight.
I would say here maybe on the side of Mr. X, it was maybe a bit too impatient to start contesting the high ground on his own. We did see him getting slept as his Winston was jumping in. So maybe on the next one, if he hangs out a bit more, not showing himself and waiting for the opportunity to get in there with those dashes and start cleaning up kills, he might see more success then.
With hop aboard once again here with Zodic, who falls very, very low there to the spam from Barrett Kank on that Zenyatta. As well as we do see Waifu has switched over onto the Sigma as well. Ludio though with the Primal, can he find any boops here on the side of the map? Looks like he'll find one onto Flappy. Maybe not going to be able to find another one, but he does find Mr. X anyway, even without the boop, before finally falling to the cut. Does find 2 for himself though, which is definitely worth it. And now Halisov pushing in, does find Waifu, but is taken down by the cut. The cut finds 2. Can he find a third? Looks like not quite. He does use that pulse bomb, but Zodic able to find the shutdown and take him out. The sleep as well coming through from Ollie onto that ball and iMustache. He's now just trying to escape with his life, but I don't know if he'll be able to, running right into Zodic, who punishes him and takes him out, and that's another big stagger for the side of Crimson.
As you said here, Zodic's really putting his team on his back this point. I mean, not to talk down any other members of Crimson, but he really is standing out with the amount of damage he does. Like, it could be the Mercy Pocket, but he definitely is putting in a lot of work.
Mercy Pocket does help, but they've been able to win all these fights without even using Bob, despite Bob being available since the first fight, as Zodic finds 2 kills by himself anyway. He doesn't need that Bob to pop off. He even allows his dynamite to hit him. He does notice it, but decides to push in anyway, as he does have the Mercy Pocket. Unfortunately, he does get picked off and punished for playing so aggressively. However, the Resurrect might be there. It looks like iMustache deciding to camp that body, wanting to stop that res from happening. High Noon though coming out of Halisov instead with the damage boost from his Mercy. Can he find a pick here? He does find the cut. iMustache as well having to play very passive there just to not get picked. Now the blade does come out from Mr. X, but looks like not going to be able to find anybody just yet. Can he find Holly? Looks like no, he can't. Even with the flashbang being missed, the Mercy Pocket is too much. He does eventually find the kill onto Holly, but Mr. X does get taken out by Ollie's anti-nade. As now it's just iMustache stalling points as long as possible. Does use the mines, and also the Transcendence does come through from Barrett Kank as well, just to keep him alive for that little bit longer on the point. As it looks like they might actually start to win this fight. The killed Arc eventually coming through. Zodic on his own on the side here in a very weird position, looking for as many kills as he can get. He does eventually find Flappy thanks to the help of Toastman, who does come back on the Wrecking Ball. Also finding Barrett Kank, and now there's no support for the side of ReVamp. A very scrappy fight here so far, as now Waifu anti looking for more kills, but not able to find them, as Ollie nanoing that Tracer and Halisov, who's come back and found 2 for himself. Ollie as well finding 2 kills, and it looks like Crimson are going to be taking that point full holding on Numbani. Very, very nice play. A scrappy fight though.
Again, it really looks like Crimson is really comfortable taking their time and recontesting points here. They almost lost it, and they really waited until they even gave up 2 ticks for it just to be able to have another proper recontest as a 6-man. Whoever was on point was doing a great job of not dying, and I think that's what ultimately helped them full hold the first point in Numbani.
Definitely couldn't agree more. But that is gonna be the game for today. With Crimson pulling another 3-0 out of the hat, and definitely showing up and showing us that they're gonna be another contender for hopefully the finals of this league. Zodek showing that Poe isn't the only one who can hard carry his team. For the side of Yoinkers, is he's absolutely popping off. We didn't get to see him last week, but we see him here this week, and he's definitely showing up, making a pretty big entrance for himself.
I agree with what you say here, Zodek, really with a standout performance in this match.
Yeah, I mean, he was even able to be popping off on that Genji, even against double Briggs, and even when he was shattered on Havana with that nanoblade, he was still able to survive somehow and pull a kill out of that team fight. I'm not quite sure how he does it, but Zodek working miracles for his team. And yeah, that's another 3-0 for Crimson here. This is week 2 of the league. That's 2 3-0 so far once again. So hopefully next match, I'm not quite sure when that's going to be, but hopefully it will be a bit of a closer game, and we won't be watching another 3-0 happen. But for now, guys, thank you for coming and watching. Hope you enjoyed.